The smell of roasted plantains and spicy jollof rice wafted through our compound as Mama and I worked tirelessly in the kitchen. The sun had barely risen, yet the house buzzed with activity. After all, this wasn't just any day, it was the day before my wedding. I, Amara, was getting married to Chike, the man of my dreams. He wasn't just handsome and kind, he was also a successful businessman who owned several thriving tech companies across Nigeria and abroad. Most importantly, he loved me for who I was, not for my looks or my family background. As I stirred a pot of pepper soup, my heart swelled with gratitude. Everything was finally falling into place, or so I thought. My older sister, Adaeze, burst into the kitchen, dragging her suitcase behind her. She was dressed in a stylish two-piece outfit with a designer handbag slung over her shoulder. "Amara, Mama," she said in a hurried tone, "I need to leave now. My flight is in 2 hours." I blinked, confused. "Leave? Now? Adaeze, my wedding is tomorrow." She sighed dramatically, tossing her braids over her shoulder. "Amara, you know I've been planning this trip to Paris for months. Non-refundable tickets, exclusive events, networking opportunities, you expect me to throw all that away just to sit here and watch you walk down the aisle?" Mama looked up from kneading dough, her hands covered in flour. "Adaeze, this is your sister's wedding. She needs you. Can't you delay the trip by even a day?" But Adaeze shook her head, stubborn as always. "No, Mama. Besides, it's not like she doesn't have you or her friends to support her." Her words stung, but I forced a smile. "It's okay," I said quietly, though my voice wavered. "If she really has to go, let her." Adaeze hugged Mama briefly and gave me a half-hearted side hug. "Good luck tomorrow, sis. Send me pictures." With that, she wheeled her suitcase out the door, leaving behind a cloud of expensive perfume and a pit in my stomach. As the sound of the taxi faded, Mama muttered, "That girl only thinks about herself." I shrugged, trying to shake off the hurt. Adaeze had always been the glamorous one, the life of the party, and the center of attention. I was used to being in her shadow. But as I prepared for my big day, I made a silent vow to focus on the joy ahead and not on the absence of someone who clearly didn't value me enough to stay. The next morning, our small town was alive with excitement. The church was decorated with fresh white roses and gold ribbons, their scent mingling with the aroma of traditional delicacies being prepared for the reception. As I slipped into my wedding gown, I couldn't help but glance at the empty chair in the corner of the room, the seat we'd reserved for Adaeze. A pang of sadness hit me, but Mama squeezed my hand. "Don't worry about her, my daughter. Today is about you and your happiness." I nodded, taking a deep breath as I prepared to walk down the aisle. The moment I saw Chike waiting at the altar, my heart leapt. He looked stunning in his tailored suit, his warm smile calming my nerves. As I walked toward him, everything else faded away. The ceremony was beautiful, filled with laughter, tears, and heartfelt vows. When Chike slipped the ring onto my finger, I felt a sense of completeness I'd never known before. After the reception, Chike pulled me aside. "Amara, there's something I need to show you," he said with a mysterious grin. He led me to a sleek black SUV parked outside. "This," he said, opening the door with a flourish, "is our ride to your surprise." "Surprise?" I echoed, puzzled. "You'll see." As we drove through winding roads, my curiosity grew. Finally, we pulled up to a sprawling estate on the outskirts of town. My jaw dropped. The mansion before us gleamed under the moonlight, surrounded by lush gardens and fountains. "This is our home now," Chike announced, watching my reaction with delight. Tears filled my eyes. "Chike, I don't understand. I knew you were successful, but this..." He laughed softly. "I didn't want you to marry me for my wealth. I wanted you to love me for me. Now that we're married, I can finally share everything with you." I hugged him tightly, overwhelmed with emotion. In that moment, I knew I had made the right choice. Little did I know, far away in Paris, Adaeze was posting photos of herself sipping champagne at rooftop parties, oblivious to the fact that the sister she had abandoned was now living a dream life beyond her imagination. 2 weeks later, Adaeze returned from her trip, sun-kissed and glowing. She burst into our family home, eager to flaunt her souvenirs and stories. "Amara," she called out, spotting me in the living room. "You won't believe the fun I had. Paris is magical, fashion shows, exclusive clubs, amazing food." She stopped mid-sentence, finally noticing the glittering diamond ring on my finger and the designer clutch on my lap. "What's going on here?" she asked, narrowing her eyes. I smiled calmly. "Chike surprised me after the wedding. He's a very successful man." Adaeze's mouth fell open. "Successful how? Like, how successful are we talking about?" Before I could answer, Chike walked in, looking effortlessly elegant. "Ah, you must be Adaeze," he said warmly. "Amara's told me so much about you." Adaeze blinked rapidly, clearly trying to process what she was seeing. "Nice to meet you," she said, forcing a smile. As we chatted, I noticed a strange look flicker across her face, envy mixed with regret. She had left for her Paris trip thinking she was above it all, only to return and find that her younger sister had married into a life of luxury and love. That evening, Adaeze cornered me in the kitchen. "Amara," she hissed, "why didn't you tell me Chike was this rich?" I frowned. "Why does it matter? I married him because I love him, not because of his wealth." She scoffed. "You don't get it. If I had known, I wouldn't have missed the wedding. Do you know how important it is to network at events like that? I could have met powerful people, made valuable connections." I cut her off, my voice rising. "This wasn't about you, Adaeze. It was about me, about my happiness. You chose to leave, and now you have to live with that choice." Her face darkened, and for a moment, I saw something almost sinister in her eyes. "We'll see about that," she muttered before storming out. From that day on, Adaeze's behavior changed. She began visiting more often, always dressed impeccably and speaking sweetly to Chike. At first, I thought she was just trying to make up for missing the wedding. But soon, I noticed subtle things, her lingering touches on Chike's arm, the way she laughed a little too loudly at his jokes, the compliments that bordered on flirtation. One evening, I walked into the living room to find them sitting very close together, whispering. My stomach twisted. "What's going on here?" I demanded. They both jumped apart, looking guilty. Chike cleared his throat. "Nothing, my love. We were just talking about a business idea Adaeze has." Adaeze smiled sweetly. "Yes, just business. Don't be so paranoid, little sister." But deep down, I knew something wasn't right. A week later, while cleaning Chike's study, I stumbled upon a small envelope tucked inside one of his books. Curiosity got the better of me, and I opened it. Inside was a handwritten note in Adaeze's unmistakable handwriting. "Chike, I can't stop thinking about you. You deserve someone who truly understands your world. Amara is too simple for you. Let's run away together." My hands trembled as I read the words. Rage and heartbreak coursed through me. I realized then that my sister hadn't just been jealous, she was trying to steal my husband. I folded the note carefully and tucked it back into the envelope. My mind raced with questions. Should I confront her? Should I tell Chike? But before I could decide, I heard voices outside the study window. Peering out, I saw Adaeze and Chike standing in the garden. Adaeze was clutching his arm, tears streaming down her face. "You don't love her the way you love me," she cried. "Leave her, Chike. Be with me." Chike pulled away, his expression a mix of anger and disgust. "Adaeze, stop this madness. I love Amara. I've never given you any reason to think otherwise." But Adaeze refused to back down. "You'll regret this," she spat before storming off. My heart pounded as I stepped outside, revealing myself. Chike looked shocked to see me. "You heard everything," he said quietly. I nodded, tears blurring my vision. "I did." He took my hands in his. "Amara, I swear, I never encouraged her. I only love you." I believed him, but that didn't erase the pain of my sister's betrayal. In that moment, I made a decision. Adaeze needed to face the consequences of her actions. The next day, I invited Adaeze over for tea. She arrived looking smug, clearly thinking she had the upper hand. "Amara, what's all this?" she asked, eyeing the neatly arranged table. I smiled sweetly. "I thought we should clear the air. Just as sisters." As we sipped tea, I pulled out the envelope with her note and placed it on the table. Adaeze's face went pale. Where did you find that?" "In Chike's study," I replied calmly. "I also heard everything you said to him in the garden." Her facade crumbled, and she slumped in her chair. I wanted what you have, Amara. I've always been the successful one, the admired one. And then you ended up with everything I ever wanted." I shook my head, tears welling up. "You didn't just want what I have, you tried to destroy me to get it. And you failed." Adaeze looked up, her eyes filled with shame. "What are you going to do?" I took a deep breath. "Nothing, for now. But you need to leave and think about the kind of person you've become. If you ever try to interfere in my marriage again, I will expose you to the entire family." Adaeze nodded silently, grabbed her bag, and left without another word. Over the next few weeks, she kept her distance. Chike and I focused on building our life together, though the wound of betrayal lingered. One evening, as we sat on the porch watching the sunset, Chike squeezed my hand. "I'm proud of you for handling things with grace. Not many people could forgive a betrayal like that." I smiled sadly. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. But I refused to let bitterness rule my heart. Months passed, and Adaeze eventually returned to the family home. She looked different, quieter, humbled. "Amara," she said softly, "I came to apologize. I've been doing a lot of thinking, and I realize now how selfish I've been. I don't expect you to forgive me, but I'm truly sorry." I studied her carefully. This time, her remorse seemed genuine. "I accept your apology," I said finally. "But trust has to be rebuilt, Adaeze. That will take time." She nodded, tears streaming down her face. "I understand." As we embraced, I felt a sense of peace wash over me. Later that night, I reflected on everything that had happened. Life had a way of testing bonds, revealing true character. My sister had left for Paris thinking she was chasing a dream, only to return and realize the true value of love, loyalty, and family. And I had learned that even in the face of betrayal, forgiveness was the most powerful choice I could make. In the end, wealth and status didn't define our worth, it was the relationships we nurtured and the choices we made when tempted by envy. Sometimes, the greatest victory isn't in winning against others, but in conquering the darkness within ourselves.